This is my chance to ask you something I've wanted to ask since I've seen the film. Obviously, Paul Giamatti is incomparable in this film, but the other standout is Dominic Sessa, who plays Tully. You should, yes. How did you find this remarkable young man?
First of all, thanks for the warm welcome. Much appreciated. I had a New York-based casting director, and we knew it was going to be tough. Thought it might be tough. Hoped it wouldn't be. And we had about 800 submissions from around the. I mean, it's pretty easy these days. Anyone could put him or herself on tape and press send, and But we look at everything. You never know. And so from those 800 submissions, I didn't see all 800. I saw maybe 60 or 80 or something. Yeah. So we're able to find some of the other parts, but we couldn't find him. And of course, when you're casting kids, I had this experience with Election 25 years ago. You want to find kids who look like kids, who really, have an authenticity and a reality, but can still do the part. But you don't always want professional actor kids because they seem too much like professional actor kids.
Yeah.
They don't have a certain rawness. So we were looking for that balance. So we finally did what we said we were going to do, which is call up the schools, the drama department of the schools where we were actually going to be shooting.
What?
And have auditions from the schools, and there he was. He was at Deerfield Academy, which is one of the fictitious Barton Academy was cobbled together from 5 different schools in Massachusetts. And he was, he'd never been in front of a camera, a star in the drama club and in the drama department, a real ham. And I got 2 actors from Deerfield, him and the blonde kid in class who eats the Cobb salad. Dominic was 19 when we shot. He was a 5th year. He was like an older senior, and the blonde kid was a junior when we shot.
And what's he doing now?
Well, he now is beginning his sophomore year at Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, which is a very hard to get into drama school. And again, he would have taken the semester off if it weren't for the strike, and he'd be here with us now. But he's, now got representation and a fancy manager, and he's on his way, even though no one's seen the film yet.
Well, he's remarkable in the part, and congratulations to him.
And the cool thing for me, too, was, I've been lucky enough to direct a number of really great film actors over the years, but it was interesting to see someone who, to some degree, didn't have to work for it. He's born with it.
Wow. And
I had learned early on that the best actors are also the best technically. They can hit their marks, they know their dialogue, loop well, do the additional dialogue later well, and synchronize their lips and all that kind of technical stuff. And he's just born to do it.
Wow.
It's really something. And also to go toe-to-toe, head-to-head with Paul Giamatti in his first ever film was really something to watch.
It's incredible. Congratulations to him.
It was really something. And
Yeah.
it's totally win-win. The kid gets a career out of the deal, and then I get a movie out of the deal.
Seems good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, question right there. Go ahead, sir.
I like the jittery titles of the pops on the soundtrack, and I'm wondering at what point you decided to do that.
The gentleman says he likes the jittery titles in the pops on the soundtrack. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, just little tricks you do to make it sort of feel like a real period movie, and all that came in editing. I hadn't thought about all that stuff in advance, but in editing, let's put some pops on the soundtrack and jittery titles. And the whole movie, too, has a little, gate weave, and it's, anyway, thanks for noticing.
Right over there, please. There are some great lines. Were some of them improvised, or were they all in the script? And she's asking you if there will be a gag reel.
All of the dialogue in the movie was in the script, and no, there will not be a gag reel.
This idea of the script, though, you obviously have been acknowledged with Oscars for scripts of your own. You write your movies, but this is one that came to you. Can you speak about that?
Sort of. Not really. I had the idea for the movie for about 10 years.
Oh.
But didn't have either the discipline to research it or I just hadn't gotten around to it. And out of the blue, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was sent a pilot set in a prep school, in a boarding school. And I called the writer and I said, "You've written a very fine pilot, which I don't wish to direct, but would you consider taking on an idea I have that takes place in that same world?" And he did, and this is what worked out.
And his name is?
David Hemmingson.
David Hemmingson.
The David Hemmingson.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm super lucky. I'm super lucky that that worked out so well.
Go ahead, please.
Louder, please.
The question is, she loved the characters and the story, but how did you film Angus's dislocated shoulder?
You know, we're not really supposed to reveal all our tricks, but it was a prosthetic. We did research on what actual dislocations look like and wanted a pretty gnarly looking one and had it made.
Oh,
But
okay.
but he's pretty agile with his body, Dominic is, so his shoulder blade juts out, and that's really his.
Gosh. Yes, there was right there, please. That's lovely. He says, welcome back to Toronto.
Thank you very
He's
much.
loved everything that you've done, and it's all been very meaningful to him.
Bless your heart. Thanks very much.
There's someone in the shirt there waving. Go ahead. She's saying that there's a universality around coming-of-age stories, and she's wondering, what is it about this one that really drew you to it?
That's a really tough question to answer. I mean, I appreciate the observation. I don't know if I guess it is a coming-of-age story, but I didn't really see it that way. I just sort of saw it as a story. Not that that matters, how I saw it. Let me think about that. And
Okay.
it's easy to talk about process, and it's kind of hard to talk about my internal process or questions of theme or patterns or something. It's always tough.
Yep.
And I apologize, but let me think about that.
You'll think about it. Yes, go ahead, please, in the glasses. Does Paul Giamatti actually have a wonky eye?
Yeah, the joke would be this is the first movie where he didn't wear an eye prosthetic.
Okay.
He does not. He does not.
And there was someone next to you or behind, right away. Do you have a prep school background yourself?
Sort of. I didn't go to an Eastern boarding school, but I attended an all-boys Jesuit high school in Omaha, Nebraska. So there are some jokes in there from the classroom that are, because my favorite class, I did 4 years of Latin, and the guys I hang out with in Omaha are still from that Latin class. So there are some jokes in there just for those guys.
Okay. That's lovely. We have time for one more question. Yes, go ahead.
Paternal?
The film seems to be very interested in paternal relationships. Is that something you're interested in?
Well, unlike the question about coming-of-age stories, that one I have put a little thought into, or not thought, but observed that The Descendants, that's kind of father-daughter. Nebraska is father-son. And this one is sort of surrogate father-y, sonny. So I guess I am. But I don't really have much more to say about it than just observing. Like, I didn't realize that at the time when we were making this, like maybe not until start having to think about it to have to talk about it. But yeah, so maybe the next one won't. Now about coming of age stories. I still don't know.
Thank you so much for bringing this
Thanks
film
for being
to
a great
Toronto.
audience. Thanks a lot. See you later.
We appreciate it. Congratulate him.